Hello and welcome to this video where I will try to show you how you can use R language and the Tidyverse, wonderful tools to analyze data. So I discovered this site which its name is Prepping Data. It's for the Tableau software which allows like R to create visual plots for data. So it's like this website, it's like Tidy Tuesday for R. Every week since maybe 2 years, they propose challenge to solve an exercise, and I found it and thought it would be a good idea to show you how we can solve it with R. So I start with this one, week 3 in 2019. What is it? We have a very small dataset. It's about mobile cell company who sells contracts. So an employee has 4 people. For each one we know how much his monthly payment is, costs, length of the contract, and when this contract started. And the goal is to, with this data, to get this, which shows for all clients from the first month of the first contract till the last month of the last contract, how much in total the company will receive for these 4 clients. So let's go to our studio. So I started to prepare it. It's an R Markdown file, very suitable for all this. So first we'll load some libraries, of course Tidyverse. The data is an XLSX file, so we need this library, read Excel, and another one, as there are dates, we'll use LubriData, and I use janitor for cleaning the names of the data. So let's load the data. I downloaded it. There is a link on the web page. For me, it's there. This. Okay. So let's look at the data. So it's a table, data frame. If we look at the types, name, character, okay, double for monthly cost and contract length, and start date has the date time format, so we'll change that a little bit, put that in a new variable, that. So first thing is to clean the names. With this we have much more easily usable names without backticks. Everything is in a single word. Then we'll convert start date to the LubriDate format with as date, start date. Okay, so now it was daytime, now it's a date. Okay, so we have a table with only 4 rows. To get the plot and in plot, we need to have for each month how much each of the client will pay if he pays for this month. So the idea is using the start date and the contract length months to get a list for each client of all the dates, all the months he has to pay his monthly cost. So for this we will use the function months with an S plural from LubriDate. What does this function do? I take, for example, the first date of the contract of call. It starts at 2018 December the 30th. So I convert it to the library date format, and if I add with the function months is 1, it gives me a new date which is 1 month later. And if I add a sequence like 1 to 6, I have a list of the 6 months after the first date. So that's what we are going to use for each of the 4 clients. But we have different lengths for the contracts. So because we have different lengths, and because when I use months I have a vector with, here in my example, 6, but I would, if I use this, I would have 24, 6, 12, so results would be with different lengths. So the trick with Tidyverse is to use this. First, I will use row-wise. Row-wise will allow the following operations to be applied row by row, not to each row. So what will I do? I'm gonna create a new variable which is let's call it payment date list, which takes the first month the client pays and will add. So I start at 0 because the first month you have to pay, and the sequence will end 24 or 6, so it's contract. Oh, still with the old name, so I have to type it. Okay. But if I do this, I will encounter a problem because of. I'm gonna try it. Yeah. The problem is because of the size of the result. It's not a single value. It's 25, or it would be 7 or 13 for the other clients. So to avoid this, I'm gonna wrap this and put it in a list. If I do that, look at what we have. My table is now, we get the same 4 columns, but in the 5th one we have lists of different sizes. So it's one more because one more than the contract length, because we have to pay for the start date months. So in each list I have all the months corresponding to each client. And when I get this, it's very easy to go to a long format table with this great function which is unnest. Unnest will do what I need. It's gonna separate in 25 rows for Carl, 7 for Jonathan, etc. So I just have to tell that I'm gonna unlist by payments date list. Let's watch. Now we have this for Carl. We have 1, 2, 3, 25 months, and Jonathan for 7 months, and Andy. It's perfect format for doing whatever we have to do to go to get the plot. So what small problem now before plotting, it's we need to sum for each month, get a sum of each client. If we look at the payment dates list, it starts for Carl on the 13th of the month, but for Jonathan it will be the 22nd, 17th, 19th for the other one. So I have to modify it a little bit for the dates to be the same for each month. So for that, I will use another LubriDate function, I'm going to create this variable. It will be payment months. It's the function floor date. Like many floor functions, it's going to round the variable I'm going to type now. It is payment state list. And we have to tell that it's going to be rounded by months. And if we look now at what we get, all the months start on the first. So if I have different months, so for instance in December 2018, three of the guests have the clients have to pay, so Carl and me, and then when I'm gonna group by this, I will be able to sum up for everyone. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm gonna group by these payment months, and then do a summarize. Got the total payments. That will be the sum of it's called monthly cost. Now we have for each month total payments. Let's see if we did the right things, and to check this I'm gonna do a ggplot, so it's gonna be easy. It's payment months, total payments, and we're gonna do a geom call. I like to fill it in dark blue. Oh, I could have done this. Okay, so if I zoom it and compare, I think we have the good data, good results. It's the same approach. So to sum up, very few line of codes. The key was using two functions, one from RubyDate to add one more month or 2, 3, 4, etc. Put that in a list. That was important to put it in a list, and then unnest the result to get a long format table with which we can do everything to plot it easily. So I hope it was interesting for you and you learned something. Maybe I will do another or many other prepping data challenges with R. Thanks.